When I first began this journey as a trader, I thought the hardest part was technical. If I could just crack the right setup, find the perfect entry, get the flawless plan, I would finally have peace. But the longer I stayed in the game, the more I realized the truth. I wasn't only trading my strategy. I was trading my story. And the story I was living back then, it was a desperate one. I would sit down at my desk, the glow of the screens pulling me in. My palms would sweat, my chest would tighten, and I could almost hear my worth being measured tick by tick. A win meant I was alive. A loss meant I was worthless. Even if my account balance moved up, I never felt safe, because my identity was fragile. And that's the part nobody tells you. Every time you click the mouse, you're not just trading your plan, you're trading your identity. For me, desperation was the loudest mask, but I wore many others. Some days I was the perfectionist, charts covered in lines, overanalyzing every possibility, frozen with fear that if I made a move, I'd be wrong. Other days I was the overachiever, grinding for hours, staring at the screen like sheer effort could bend the market in my favor. And plenty of times I was the emotional trader, riding the high of one win, like I was invincible, only to crash into the next loss with shame and anger. Different masks, same route. A broken identity trying to prove itself through the market. One day, after a loss that hit me harder than it should have, I felt the old spiral pulling me in. My cursor hovered over another entry button, ready to chase, ready to make it back. Every nerve in me screamed, get it back now. But then came the whisper, quiet, almost too quiet to notice. There has to be another way. I froze because deep down I knew it was true. I wasn't only losing trades, I was losing myself. That whisper didn't give me a 10-step plan. It gave me something more powerful. A doorway, a chance to ask different questions, a chance to shift the identity I was carrying to the screen. This is where the Sacred Trader program begins. Not with charts, not with setups, but with identity. The truth is, identity is frequency. It's the vibration you bring before you click a button. And the market doesn't just respond to your analysis, it mirrors your frequency. The desperate trader carries scarcity. The perfectionist carries fear. And the overachiever carries force. But the emotional trader carries chaos. And guess what? The market reflects it all back. That's why no amount of technical mastery could save me, because I was carrying the wrong frequency into the trade. Looking back, the desperate trader I embodied believed three core lies. If I lose, I am worthless. If this trade fails, everything fails. And the market owes me, and I will force it to pay. Every trade I took was filtered through those lies. Even my wins weren't safe, because I was already waiting for the next loss to erase them. Maybe you've carried these lies too, or maybe yours sound different. If I'm not perfect, I'm not safe. If I don't work harder than anyone else, I'll fall behind. If I'm not winning, I'm failing at life. Different words, same prison. So what does the Sacred Trader look like? The Sacred Trader doesn't chase validation in the P&L. The Sacred Trader shows up in devotion, not desperation. Patience becomes a prayer. Discipline becomes love in action. Losses become teachers, not proof of failure. When I began to live in this identity, my trading changed. Not because my setups magically improved, but because my presence did. The Sacred Trader is rooted in three sacred laws: frequency, embodiment, and resonance. Frequency. The state you bring into the market shapes what you even notice on the screen. Embodiment. Your body and nervous system can either sabotage you or support you. Resonance. The market mirrors who you're being, not just what you're doing. These laws became my anchor. I remember the morning I knew I had crossed the threshold. I took 2 trades that day. The first hit target cleanly, the second stopped me out. The old me, the desperate trader, would have unraveled. He would have chased, doubled down, burned the plan, and stayed glued to the screen in frustration. But that morning I paused, I breathed, and I asked myself, what would the sacred trader do right now? The answer was simple. Honor the contract, respect the plan, close the screens, carry peace into the next room. So I did. I shut the laptop and walked into the kitchen where my kids were laughing. And for the first time, I didn't drag my frustration with me. I was present, and I laughed with them. That moment was worth more than any profit, because that was the day I knew I wasn't just changing trades. I was changing who I was being. But identity isn't built in a single moment. It's integrated through practice. Here's what I began to do. I wrote down my old story. For me, if I lose, I am worthless. Then directly beneath it, I wrote my new story. I am the sacred trader. My patience provides. My discipline is love in action. I am whole, win or lose. Every morning before I traded, I read both. I let myself feel the pull of the old story, and then I anchored it into a new one. And here's the kicker. Every action became proof. Every time I honored a stop loss, I was proving the new story. Every time I passed on a trade that didn't fit my plan, I was proving the new story. Every time I closed the laptop without revenge trading, I was proving the new story. Identity rewires through repetition. The sacred trader isn't learned, it's practiced. In the full sacred trader path, this is the first pillar, identity. But identity alone won't hold unless it's connected to the other practices you'll discover as we move forward. Later, we'll dive into the sacred laws that shape your presence. We'll walk through the morning engine I use to ground myself before every session. We'll explore the sacred contract that keeps me aligned when temptation shows up. And we'll look at recovery and integration, the way I re-enter my life after trading, so my family doesn't inherit my market storms. This series is designed to give you pieces of the whole, enough to walk with, enough to practice, enough to change the way you show up, not just at the screen, but everywhere you carry yourself. I want you to imagine this with me. It's 1 year from today. You sit down to trade, calm and steady. You know exactly who you are at the screen. You take your trades, you manage your risk, you close your session. And when you walk into the next room, you're free, you're present, you're whole. Your family doesn't inherit your frustration. They inherit your peace. That's what this is really about. Not just financial freedom, identity freedom. The sacred trader isn't something you learn, it's someone you become. And today your first step is simply this. Write down the old story you've been trading from. Then write the new one. Because your trades will follow your identity, and your identity is the soil of everything. I'll see you in episode 2, where we'll dive into the 3 sacred laws that anchor this path and give you the tools to live them out in real time. See you later.